Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari, and in the series of Indian Evidence Act, we were discussing chapter 7, which is all about burden of proof, covered between section 101 to 114A. And in this series, that is on the series of chapter 7, this is my 10th video where we are going to conclude this entire chapter with our discussion on the last section, which is basically an amendment section, that is section 114A, which is basically discussing upon the presumption as to absence of consent in rape. This is an amendment section, and remember, this is a very important section. And when we are discussing about this section, we are also referring section 375 and 376 of Indian Penal Code. And for the purpose of notes, I have covered those two sections also. I am not going to discuss them in detail, but you have the notes for that too. And I have an interesting case law. And as far as rape is concerned, I have detailed videos in my IPC playlist. With that, I am taking you to slide number 1, where I am going to discuss about a very important amendment that everyone should know. Let's get into business. I said we need to know about an amendment. This is the amendment I am talking about, which came into effect from 3rd February 2013 on section 114A of Indian Evidence Act. Now, Indian Evidence Act discusses about presumption as to absence of consent in certain prosecutions for rape. Now, the provision says in a prosecution for rape under clause A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M and N of subsection 2 of section 376 of the Indian Penal Code 1860, where sexual intercourse by the accused is proved, and the question is whether it was without the consent of the women alleged to have been raped, and such woman states in her evidence before the court that she did not consent. The court shall presume that she did not consent. Now, there is an explanation which says in this section, sexual intercourse shall mean any of the acts mentioned in clauses A to D of section 375 of the Indian Penal Code 1860. Now, in the beginning itself, I asked you to remember the amendment which came with effect from 3rd February 2013. Why did I say so? Because initially it was clause A, B, C, D, E and G only from section 376, but currently it is from clause A to clause N. Now, all of those clauses are coming under the purview of section 114A. And what does this section says? That now follow me in my below chart where there are 5 boxes. I am taking you through and follow with me accordingly. When the question is related to consent in a sexual intercourse and the prosecution for rape is in progress under IPC section 376 clause 2 and any of the subclause from A to N. Now, any of the subclause that can be considered, where the sexual intercourse between accused and the victim is already been proved, and if the victim says, that is the woman who got raped, now if she says that it was sexual intercourse without consent, in that case the court shall presume that it was a sexual intercourse without consent. That means it was a rape. As easy as that. To make it further clear, I will give a simple illustration to you guys. Imagine there is one Mr. A and one Miss B. Now, there is a prosecution in the court is in progress, and the case is Miss B says that A has raped her. That means there was a sexual intercourse between A and her, and she has not given consent for such sexual intercourse. Now, it is already been proved, yes, there was a sexual intercourse between A and B. In that case, if B says that such sexual intercourse was not without consent, in that case, the court shall presume that it was a sexual intercourse without consent. What is very important for you to remember from this particular section? You need to remember when we studied IPC, that is Indian Penal Code, or the CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code, everywhere we said the court shall presume that the accused is innocent. But there are few exceptions, and this is one such very big exception. In the case of rape, the accused has the burden to prove that the sexual intercourse was with consent. The victim will say, no, there was no consent, but the burden of proof is completely lies on the accused to prove that yes, that sexual intercourse was happened with consent. That way, this is one of the very significant section where the accused is not considered as innocent. I hope that makes a lot of sense, and that gives a lot of edge to you to remember that it is not always that in any of the criminal procedure the accused is considered as innocent. There are exceptions, and this is one such very big exception. And with that, I am taking you to the only case law. The case law that I am referring is from Delhi High Court, that is Shiva versus State, where it was held that once the victim says that the sexual intercourse was without consent, the accused has complete burden to prove the same. Now beyond this, I am not bringing any case laws because I have done two very lengthy sections on rape which is available in my playlist on Indian Penal Code, that is section 375U and 376. You can visit, and there I have discussed case laws in detail. Now we have discussed so much about section 375U and 376, and if you don't want to go there and study, for the purpose of notes, I have given whatever is important from Indian Penal Code as far as this section is concerned. Now I am taking you to the notes part. The first thing, if you see section 114A, in the explanation it has mentioned very clearly that rape needs to be read along with section 375U of Indian Penal Code. Basically, section 375U of Indian Penal Code defines what is rape, and here the section 114A asks us to refer clause A to D of section 375U, which is available in box 1. You can refer that. Along with that, as additional notes, I have also given the 7 descriptions which are discussed under section 375U. You can also read through them. And now let's move to section 376 of IPC. As far as section 376 of IPC is concerned, which basically discusses about the punishment for rape, there are as many as 14 subclauses under clause 2 of section 376. I have kept clause 2 here along with 14 subclauses, that is subclause A to subclause N. So please take this screenshot. Here you have 5 initial subclauses, and in my next slide you have the remaining. Please take the screenshot so that I can take you to the next slide. Here are the remaining subclauses. You can please take the screenshot for the purpose of notes, and if you read the last part, you can also understand the punishment part. You might be thinking that why I am not explaining this. I have already told that I have detailed video on section 375U and 376 in my Indian Penal Code playlist. You can please refer them to understand them conceptually. That brings an end to section 114A as well as chapter 7 of Indian Evidence Act. Now if you have observed that last few class it was Nishan who used to conclude all the classes, but today I am back because I just wanted to say that I am happy. Now the question is why I am happy. Maybe you need to stay with me for another 2 minutes. What happens when I started Indian Evidence Act, it is of 167 sections along with several other amendment sections. Now, if I think that I am going to finish all the sections and once I finish the entire law, I will celebrate. In that case, I have lot of risk in doing that, because in between I might break down or I might lose motivation and stop it, so that I don't have anything to celebrate. Life is not like that. We need to be able to celebrate every small achievement that we are doing. Now, for example, last 114 plus days, I have covered 114 sections from Indian Evidence Act and several other amendment sections also, and we have covered 101 sessions. Now, after every chapter completed, I felt happy. Not just chapters, after every single section, I felt happy because I finished one more section and took one more step. Now we are going towards 167 slowly. By doing that way, we can enjoy our life. But if we start thinking that I will finish everything and then I will celebrate, maybe that day will never come. In that case, life becomes so much of boredom. So we should not do that. We should be able to enjoy every single success so that life becomes more joyful and you can celebrate every time whenever you complete something. That's how I am looking at the things. Now, coming to the last part, I'm sure by now you must have subscribed my channel. If not, this is your time to subscribe. And every time we say these three words, that is like, share and comment. Now, like, when you look at the YouTube video, there are two options you got, like and dislike. And I'm requesting you to choose any one of them so that we know what exactly are we doing. The second one, share. Now, if you are a student, please share this video with your friends so that they know there is a person by name Ganesh Pujari who teaches law. So they can use this particular channel for their benefit also. And if you are a practicing lawyer, advocate or judge, you can also share with your colleagues. Who knows, sometime they might refer my channel. And then the last part, comment. Please comment us and say what exactly or how exactly we are progressing so that we have our feedback as well as motivation. I think that's too much to talk. With that, we are concluding. Thanks again and keep watching us.